Hello.
Here we are again with Preacher Leela.
Hi, y'all.
And I'll pull this up here. This is what we're looking at here. See if
The
I can.
Shanti Pata, the invocation of peace.
Well, we're still going through Book of Wisdom on Ishupanishad for those that don't know where we are.
I love this mantra.
Yes.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
I'm curious, Leela, where did you learn that particular meter? I've never heard that meter.
Oh, that was from my previous ashram. That's how we used to sing it.
Uh-huh.
But I have to admit that it's not all totally in my memory, and I was reading some of it, and so there was some hesitation in there.
Hi, Daria. Hello, Anjan.
Push this a little closer to me. There.
There we go.
Ah.
And so, anyway.
That Brahman, without attributes and the highest God, is perfect. This creation having a form and full.
Could I make this font bigger? Is that big enough for you?
If you can make it bigger, that's wonderful.
Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger there.
Because it appears a little bit differently to me than it does on Facebook.
Well, there's supposed to be a bar down there that allows me to change the shape of it, but it's not showing up.
Well, oh, there we go. Huh? It did something. I'm not sure what.
If I make it too big, I cannot see it.
And it actually hasn't even changed for me. I hear some kind of chanting in the background.
No, that's Ma Tree making food in the kitchen.
Well, it sounds like a bunch of Brahmins chanting Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamudaya. Now see, I lost it.
It's her working with
what it sounded like.
It's a beater. It's going G G.
You see what's on my mind.
Hi, B. Hi, Roseanne.
Hello. Hello. Oh, hi, Takalo, she says.
Yeah, it's getting him.
Hi, Raj. Hi, everybody. That Brahman without attributes and the highest God is perfect. This creation having a form and full of many attributes is also perfect, because only a perfect can be born out of the perfect. If the perfect is taken out of the perfect, what remains is also perfect.
This is very strange. I cannot get my tabs to work properly here. I'm going to take this out and bring it back in.
Now I see a big Swamiji.
View. It's strange. I cannot get one thing to come in front of the other. Now the PDF file is blocking my whole screen and I'm not able to look behind it.
Oh no.
I've never seen this happen before. I'm going to turn it off and try again.
Little kiss.
I'm still working on it. Still working on it. I'm going to need to shut down the computer and reopen.
Okay, so we'll all go and come back.
Yeah, all righty.
Are you going to send me a new link?
No, I will try this. If it doesn't work, then I'll send you this. It'll be the same one, I think. If not, I'll have to start over.
All right. And for once, my camera did not freeze. My phone you sat on. There you go. Lean your head over. We both have colds today. You're a star, Hershey. You're a YouTube star. I'm going to stop the camera.
Hello?
Nope, we're back. Hello, can you see me and hear me? I can see and hear you.
Yeah, I can. Let's see. Would somebody tell us if we're still online? If we're online right now, let me come back here and see if I can see this.
Thanks, Rose.
Huh?
Roseanne says, I look great and hi, puppy.
Are we back now? Can you say, yes, we are back now or something? I
think we're back.
I want to make sure that I'm not looking at an old comment. If that would be
Raj
possible.
says we can see and hear you and Leela, and Taria says you're both online.
Okay, good. So I guess it's not, you're not looking at the archive. All right. We can hope.
Thank you, Anjan says yes.
Thank you.
And see, and there's a tequila. Sidekick.
Okay, now that's working properly. Yeah, okay, now, oops, now it's working the way it's supposed to be working.
Cool. We left off at Om. Peace. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raj says you're growing to be a nice young woman. Huh? Yes, you're young.
Now you.
Om is the first word of the Vedas. If we shut our mouth, all
you get is Om.
And try to utter any letter or word of any language within ourselves, nothing but the sound of Om will come out.
Now, just to make sure that everybody knows this, Look at what I have here. I have a tree, but I don't have any jelly on it. I have a chocolate hummus toast on it.
Well, it looks like raisin toast too.
Oh, it's flax.
It's flaxseed toast. It's flax toast
Uh-huh.
from Ezekiel. Very good stuff.
If we have a mouth,
See, I took me out so that you wouldn't see me eat it. See, I'm not really eating it.
but see, if you have a mouthful of chocolate hummus and flax toast, nothing but the sound of Om would come out.
Yes, that's right. Om.
Om.
Okay, carry on.
Om is the only word which can be pronounced with mouth open and mouth closed. The foundation stone of the whole Sanskrit language is the word Om. There is no other word like it. There's a tequila Om with mouth closed. That's real special. Its meaning has been explicitly explained in the Mandukya Upanishad, which you can also catch online on Facebook Live sometimes with Swamiji. Do you have a regular time for the Mandukya Upanishad, Swamiji?
What?
Do you have a regular time for the Mandukya Upanishad on Facebook?
I'm sorry, do we have a regular what?
Time that comes on, that you do that.
When are we going through Enlightenment Without God?
Because
Saturday
you're going
night?
through it right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through it right now. We alternate.
Uh-huh.
Are you asking? You don't know?
No, I was saying, is that on? I was wondering, I couldn't remember the time. Was it Saturdays that you're doing it now?
I think the next one is Monday morning.
Monday morning. That I wanted to plug the next one, and I wasn't sure when it was.
Did somebody ask that? Did I miss a
No,
question?
she's making a commercial break.
No, I was making a plug for it.
Yes.
Well, at the top of the Abhyasa Ashram Satsang page, if somebody has an idea of how to make this any more obvious, I would love to hear it. I pinned a photograph at the top of the page that says activities.
So you all remember to go look at that activities page, and remember we're doing the Mandukya Upanishad right now. The next one's Monday.
And then on top of that, Leela, we also have a course.
And then there's the Om course on YouTube.
And then every time we're about to have one, the computer puts out an announcement. So an announcement went out a little while ago for this meeting that we're doing right now.
So don't miss it. We have lots on the Mandukya Upanishad for those that are interested in delving further into this word Om, called Pranava, Brahman, or God. It's a compound of the letters A, U, and M. These three letters stand respectively for the three states of wakefulness, dreaming sleep, and deep dream restless sleep, and for the corresponding gross, subtle, and causal bodies. Yet there is a fourth part of Om, as the A, U, and M next merge into the silence. The silence that comes after the Om. This represents a fourth state which can be experienced. It is above feelings and thoughts, a state of pure awareness where all activity ceases. This state is called Turiya Vashya. It cannot be described, it can only be realized in experience. To realize it is the supreme experience in life. The four padas, parts of Om, may be described in the following manner also. Padosya Vidya Bhutani Tripad Asyamutam Divi Tripad Urdu Udait Parusha Padosye Bhavat Puna.
That cleared that up for me, didn't it? That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Says it all, doesn't it? The Purushukta gives a description of all the four padas parts of Virat Purusha, the grand form of God. Not just any form of God, the grand form of God. After that, there is only form. The first pada includes the creatures of the whole universe. The other three padas are full of the nectar of immortality. That is to say, they are existence, consciousness, and bliss beyond the realm of change and decay. The first pada is used in order to obtain the remaining three. This one pada includes the whole universe and is only one mantra. The mantra of Om indicates only one pada of Brahma, the absolute reality, which includes the whole moving and unmoving world. Pranava indicates God, Brahman with attributes, and not Brahman without attributes. Om in itself is Brahman without attributes. The three padas, existence, consciousness, bliss, can be comprehended only by experience. Om contains the exposition of both the Karya Brahman and the Karana Brahman, and the Pranava indicates only Karya Brahman. Pranava is also the Vachaka, name of God. It is the unmanifest form of Brahman is without attribute, therefore without name and form. In our universe, cause and effect seem intertwined with each other. That which we call the veil of Maya, illusion, is confined to only one pada of Brahman, which is this universe. We think it's really big, but it's only one pada. Due to this basic ignorance, we are unable to have a knowledge of the absolute Brahman without any attributes. That is why all the pleasures of the world are imperfect. In other words, whatever happiness we get in this world is only 1/4 of the whole joy of God. It is because of this that the pleasures of the world are incapable of giving full satisfaction to the self of man. If together with worldly pleasures, we also realize existence, consciousness, bliss, the gain of perfect bliss will be everlasting. Perfect bliss is possible only by the undermentioned knowledge of Om, which is the subject of sadhana. Mantram pranama setu omkara praram brahma sarva mantreshu akshan Om iti eta daksharam pranave danu sharo biatma brahma talaksham uchate. Boy, that's tight.
All righty. More to come. Give me a moment, preacher. Next chapter is coming.
In the meantime, we'll take a puppy break. There's a puppy.
We can't see it, unfortunately.
You want a puppy break?
Yeah.
Okay, puppy break.
There we go. There's the puppy.
Hello, puppy.
Hello, puppy.
Hello. That's Tequela's puppy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours.
All right, here we go. It's coming.
One more time, the puppy, quick.
Puppy.
I don't know why it's not coming up.
Uh-oh. Puppy again. Puppy, puppy. Oh, there's a puppy. Puppy dance. Get it close up. Oh, there it is. Oh.
There we go.
First pada. Yay.
Got it now?
Got it.
Is it big enough?
Ida sarvam ya kimcha jagatyam. It just went away.
It just went away?
For me.
Oops, I don't know where it went, but it went away.
Oops.
All right, there it is.
There it is. Idam sarvam yat kimcha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyaktena bunjita magruda kasya shrid danam. Whatever moves in this world is enveloped by Isha.
Can't make it any better.
Oh, you can't make it any.
Enjoy it with renunciation. Do not covet any man's wealth. How about that? Enjoy it with renunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's tricky, but this here says it can be done.
Uh-huh.
Kurvam evaha karman jivashi chatam sama eva tvai nanya teto stiti na karma lipyate nare. Only through doing actions here and in this way, one should desire to live 100 years. There is no other way. Karma will not taint a man. Asurya nama te loka andena tamasrita. Kamsde pretya bichanti ye chatmano jana.
Uh-huh. Kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It always does. Asurya is the name of the worlds covered over with blind darkness. To them pass those who slay the self. Let's hear what Swami Rama has to say about that.
Yeah, this will clear it up for us, huh?
The first mantra of the Ishvasyopanishad begins with the word Isha, and thus it's also called Ishopanishad, Isha Upanishad. One who regulates and governs is called Isha, the instrumental form of which is Isha. Being the regulator and governor of all, that supreme power inherent in all the creatures is called Ishvara, God. The same supreme power resides in the heart of all living creatures and controls us. In other words, there is something in which we live, in which we are moved, in which we are. This something is as rarefied as space and all-pervasive and is called God. We have our existence in this one God. Careful reflection of the first mantra of Ishavasya Upanishad gives an understanding of the aims as well as the duties of man's life. Oh, for Philip, duty! For example, the same God is inherent in all. We should love every being. Yet the highest aim of a seeker is to see God, to realize Him. In quest of God, man, first of all, needs certain important ideals in his practical life. The foremost ideal of the seeker should be to bring about the fullest development of the powers within him. It's our yogic sadhana. Develop the powers. We have all of this power within us that's not directed. We should develop it. That means directing it somewhat. That's a little bit of it. The purpose of all the teaching is for man to develop his inner power to purify his antakarana, inner states, in practical life. Purity means freedom. Oh, well, there's that free word, free.
Free.
From all temptations or evils. For this, it is essential for us to know the duties of life, duty, and the means sufficient to eradicate all the temptations or evils. Every man is a reservoir of power, and every woman too. And everyone feels the necessity of giving expression to the powers hidden in him. In order to illuminate our antakarana, inner self, and enjoy the perfection of inner development, we need to know the means capable of developing our inner being. Man's consciousness always moves in quest of perfection, and perfection lies in the expression of self-realization. How about that? The expression of self-realization.
Pretty cool. Huh?
That means we should do it in this lifetime now, and before we drop the body, so we have some time to play in the body as self-realized beings. And
Sounds like a good plan, huh?
Yeah. Shouldn't be trying to escape so fast, should we?
Trying to run away, huh?
The translation of all our ideals and pure thoughts into action is movement toward perfection. The first mantra of Ishopanishad gives an indication of certain human ideals and duties that which, when accepted as principles and translated into action, bring man to the achievement of his purpose. The meaning of this mantra becomes clearer when we divide it into 4 parts. The first part of the mantra, the expression Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam Jagatyam Jagat, conveys the idea that this whole universe is immersed in God. Although the justice of God is equally distributed everywhere, we consider the human world to be better than that of minerals, vegetables, and animals due to man's higher intelligence and power of discrimination. Yet in the world of human beings, we find everywhere the feeling of attachment, which seems to bring us sometimes pain, sometimes pleasure. Do we not thus create a world of our own, over and above the world of God?
No.
We forget that God is omnipresent, that everything belongs to God, and that we have nothing of our own. Ignoring this truth, we are so much attached to the world of our creation that in the flux of inevitable changes, we consequently suffer intense pain and anxiety at the thought of separation from our imagined possessions. Nothing remains as it is today. Not even this cute little puppy. I think about that sometimes. Puppies are temporary.
Hard to believe, but true, huh?
And I'm going to love it anyway and be aware of it.
Well,
The ever-blowing wind of change quickly transforms everything of this world. This is a law. The world is transient, yet there is underlying the whole creation a power which is changeless. And that too is in this here puppy.
there you go.
Often we suffer unhappiness because of our attachment. When we forget that God is one and all-pervading, we inflate our ego and personal attachment and give preferential treatment to different persons. If instead of tying ourselves to attachments, we keep in mind that the same God exists in all, we will begin to love all equally well, and we will have no envy or hatred for anyone. Just as pain in any one limb of man makes his whole body smart under it, a person filled with love for all feels the discomforts of others as his own and makes all-out efforts to remove that discomfort. Service to others thus performed improves both individuals and society. The person who sees one and the same God in all sees the oneness of all. His actions and duties are performed with this feeling of oneness, are the right actions. There is no room for any personal selfishness for such a man, either in his family or in society.
No.
Such a man never usurps the rights of others and is ready to renounce his own rights for the sake of others. The greatest evil of human society lies in man's selfishness and lust for aggrandizement and rights. We have seen that the first part of the first mantra of the Ishopanishad tells this world, human life, and its ultimate end. The second part of the first mantra, the expression Tena Tyaktena Bunjita, suggests a life of renunciation. This means to enjoy pleasures while giving up all attachment to them, and to face bravely every situation in life, whether pleasant or unpleasant, even a nasty cold.
Even.
And even, yeah, even that, sweetheart, even death. She is wearing her father's keys and she showed them to me.
Wearing her father's what?
Keys! Here, lean over here.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got them around her neck. She used to always wear her daddy's keys.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so at that line, she pointed to the keys.
Yeah. She's got it figured out.
Face it, every situation in life, whether pleasant or unpleasant, in the spirit of detachment. God is everywhere. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
There should be no room for fear in life. The only man who is frightened is one who has some fault in him which he has not tried to overcome. Even if one tries to overcome faults, there's no more fear. Because we're doing our work. By practice, we can change bad habits and thus become free.
Free.
From all faults. Or from faults. By what practice? The practice recommended in this mantra is to use and enjoy every object only as a means for higher achievement. Otherwise, an object remains merely something to be enjoyed for its own sake, and we become selfishly attached to them. This not only demeans our character, but also sets us up for future suffering. This is the way of the bogi, or hedonist. The yogi, on the other hand, will not allow pleasures to remain merely ends in themselves. Instead, with a detached feeling that nothing belongs to him, but is offered only for use toward a higher end, he finds a way to use them for yoga. Yoga.
Yoga.
The realization of truth, or union with higher reality. Isn't this better than the way of mistaken attachment and consequent suffering? Detachment is dispassion or desirelessness toward what we would selfishly and ignorantly grab as an end in itself. Nishkama karma, or action without desire for rewards, is made possible by selflessness and the feeling of oneness with all. Duties, in the Indian way of life, are based on the precept of Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, of treating all living beings as one's own self. The essence of this teaching is that we should neither be lost in worldly activity nor run away from the world. If we perform actions with vairagya, or dispassion, thus avoiding both attached pleasure-seeking and running away, our purpose is served and life will be successful. Generally, people think that vairagya consists in running away from the trouble of the world who live in caves and forests. This is only superficial. True vairagya consists in being the master of the senses, in remaining uninvolved in the midst of pleasures, and emerging victorious and unsubdued in all conditions of life. Victorious and unsubdued. That's something to think about. Unsubdued. Without detachment. I'm sorry, Swamiji?
Unsubdued.
Without detachment, no one can enjoy a life of true happiness. And if anybody out there has happiness as their key word, here's something about that. He alone is happy who remains unattached from within and is moving on the path of desireless actions in the spirit of oneness with all. Sadhana is concerned not only with the inner being, but also with control of the senses and purity of conduct. With purification of conduct, there comes purification in every other way. Thus, for perfect purity, we must purify conduct by seeing the same God in all persons and creatures. When we enjoy the objects of the world in the spirit of detachment, we enjoy by using the objects in various ways as a means towards higher ends. The third part of the first mantra is the expression ma gurda, which means do not covet. Covetousness is a form of attachment. Attachment is deluded affection that takes us far away from our purpose. Attachment can be overcome by the constant practice of desireless action. This is a must for the yoga practitioner, a must. To overcome attachment, understand that God is everywhere, and cultivate the spirit of detachment by pondering how perishable are the body and the world. This decaying body and its enjoyments are not the ultimate aim of life. Our aim is freedom.
Free!
From sorrow and gaining the unchanging bliss. In order to achieve these ends, we should keep in mind the following four things, as Roseanne reminds us, free. Number one, and yoga, here it is, remembrance of God. This gives power and strength. Number two, remembrance of duty. This makes for progress of a practical life. 3, remembrance of the perishability of the body. This reminds us of the fleeting nature of enjoyments and thus restrains attachment. And 4, remembrance of death. This maintains the attitude of detachment. Oh, there's that maintenance yoga again.
Yeah, there you go.
Careful attention should be paid to these precepts. The fourth part of the Ishopanishad's first mantra is the expression Kasya Svidanam, which means do not rob anyone of his wife or husband, property, or rights. If everyone follows these instructions, society will benefit materially, ethically, and spiritually. Due to ignorance and lack of spiritual practice, people often cast greedy eyes on the property of others, with the thought of having it for themselves.
We want that puppy.
Oh, yes, I'm sure Swamiji wants a puppy. She's smiling.
No.
Too much acquisitiveness is an evil. But, there's a but. But procuring things for the purpose of sadhana is inevitable. You at least need a blanket to sit on, huh?
Yeah.
There should simply be restraint in our conduct. Greed and acquisitiveness cause unhappiness to man. Moreover, the universe is immersed in God and nothing really belongs to us. Why then should anyone crave for the possessions of others? Who can claim wealth to be his permanent possession? One who, from greed and selfishness, acquires wealth through evil deeds is a slayer of his own self and of his society. Pure, virtuous actions have at their root a feeling of oneness with all. That's how we know. The first mantra of the Ishopanishad throws light on all three angles of the triangle of life. Remember that from a few episodes ago. And serves as a guide to man's all-around development. Its ideals are worthy of our thoughtful consideration, practice, to see God in our own heart, to become pure in our actions, and to always feel that God is one and all-pervading. Therefore, it cannot be limited to any specific name or form. Think about that.
Boy, there's something to swallow on, huh?
We have seen that the essentials of the first mantra are: see the same God in all and everywhere, perform actions and enjoy pleasures without attachment for the sake of sadhana, and do not deprive others of their rights through your own selfishness. The second mantra is closely related to the first. It further elaborates the ideals of the first mantra, telling how a man should pass his life. The second mantra teaches desire to live for 100 years, but the usefulness of life does not lie in indolence and carelessness. By living a life of unattached action and performance of duties, a man can attain that end of mental calm and great peace for which his life is intended. By such a life, which is a life of sadhana, man is never blemished or shackled by his actions. Thus, the second mantra concerns nishkama karma, or non-attached action. And there's that kama word, desire. Nishkama, that would mean without desire.
Yeah.
No man can live without performing action. Consider the case of the sannyasi who has left his family for the ascetic life. He still has to perform the duties necessary for his quest of moksha, or liberation. Self-study, self-realization, and religious discourse, too, are duties. Does any monk give up these actions? Thus, everyone, whether a householder or a monk, has to perform duties. Without a knowledge of our duties and how to perform them, we cannot acquire the self-control necessary for the sake of social service and for gaining a knowledge of the spirit, Atma Tattva. Without a knowledge of his duties, even if a man lives 100 years, he is merely another animal, for he does not know why he is alive. If a man aspires to live 100 years, he should do so only with the determination to perform his duties. It is a disgrace to waste our lives in idleness and waywardness. Increasing our attachment to life and its pleasures makes us idle. Those who perform their duties untouched by attachments which stem from actions fulfill their aim. The relationship between man and his actions can be known by practice alone. Nishkama karma, action without desire for reward, does not mean that there is no desire whatsoever at the root of our action. If there were no desire in the sense of quest for this achievement of our basic objective, man would not be inclined to any kind of action. Therefore, nishkama karma means performing our duties wisely by doing them gladly for others or the universal self without desire for personal reward. We should practice this sadhana for our whole life. We should embrace activity and let our relations with others serve the highest ends. When duties are performed with selfish motive, they become obstacles to our own progress and that of others. For example, if we take food, the hand does not carry the morsel to our mouth, and the mouth grudges to gulp it down, and the stomach refuses to digest it to nourish every limb, man cannot stay alive. It is a law of nature that one limb of a man's body aids and assists the other. One man should likewise offer assistance to other men. If others are meant for us, our own life is also meant for others. An individual is a constituent part of society. Society is made up of individuals. Excuse me. Society is made up of individuals. Man should therefore perform his duties for others, and each will benefit as part of the whole. Thus, the individual should complement the resources of society and society should complement the resources of the individual. The leaders in religion, education, government, and other spheres ought to consider a man's life is purposeful only if he works dutifully to his best capacity for the good of all. The good of the individual as well as of society depends on this. Karma yoga, action without desire for rewards, also means doing your duty selflessly and with a pure heart. Considering everyone an embodiment of God, loving all and working for the good of all itself is one of the forms of worship. A man who performs actions from duty and without regard for personal reward is a true social servant. But actions motivated by fear, selfishness, egoism, or desire for fame corrupt a man and make him insensate. For such action is in itself insensate. All actions produce fruits according to the spirit of one's
What's
mind.
insensitive, Swamiji?
Senseless.
Okay.
And ignorant of the results of actions, I think, would also be the context of that.
Thanks.
You just don't know what you're doing. They're just
Out of touch.
ignorant. Even charity or almsgiving is a lowly thing if motivated by fear, selfish attachment, or desire for honor. Such actions should be condemned and discarded. Is my voice sounding weird to everyone?
Sounds good here.
Okay, I'm weird audio, but if it sounds good, now it's better. Okay, it was just weird for a minute. Sorry. Such actions should be condemned and discarded. They are mere hypocrisy in the name of religion. Only virtuous actions performed without desire for personal reward are religious or ethical actions. The first two mantras of the Ishopanishad concern the aim of life and the spiritual discipline necessary to gain that aim. The addition of the second mantra to the first emphasizes the importance of disinterested action in the process of life. In short, these two mantras tell how and why we should lead this life. The third mantra teaches that those who indulge in immoral acts antagonistic to the true aim of their life, behaving as wicked, selfish, and conceited persons, and those who are entirely given to physical and sensuous enjoyments are even now enveloped in or are reborn into a dark state known as that of asuras, translated as demons. One who knows the spirit to be all-pervading, loves all without selfish interest, lives in the world like the sage King Janaka, who transcends this world and becomes a Jivan Mukta, free from the bondage of life and death. But he who considers the infinite God to be finite and thinks the body to be his real self can neither be a devotee of God nor can perform action without hope for reward. Perfect knowledge is still far from his grasp. How can one who is divided in himself be a worshiper of God? One who is divided sees God divided and confined to a particular place. God is one, is undivided, and is omnipresent. Seeing the same God expressing in everyone and everywhere is known as Atma Buddhi, intellect turned to self, and is the underlying essence of these mantras. That'd be like a super sermon. A life lived with the concept that the soul is the real self is really a superior life. There are two kinds of instructions in our Vedas and Upanishads, prescriptions and prohibitions. The prescription should be our ideal. We should conduct our practical lives in observance of the prohibition. When we infuse our lives with ideals by practice, we can understand and appreciate both types of instructions. We find both recommendations and prohibitions in the three mantras of the first part of the Upanishad. Let us now review them.
Let's look here and see where we are and how far we want to go before we
Well, that
pause.
does kind of go, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe this is a good stopping point. This is where we were, right?
Yep.
Is that a good place to pause, preacher?
I think so. Oh, my camera froze. Kind of a funny look on my face. That's cute.
Your camera froze?
Yes, it did.
Huh. Your camera, that is a funny looking face. Look, everybody, look at that face. Do you want to refresh it so you can say goodbye, or do you want to just leave
Here we
it?
go. I'm going to refresh it real quick.
She's going to refresh it. And so that means you get to see our smiling faces. Cheese.
Gas.
Huh? What was that?
Gas.
Cos.
You said cheese.
Oh, cos. Cos
Cos.
means cheese. Okay, here we go. There she is.
Bye, y'all.
Yay! With a hummingbird
There
wave.
with a hummingbird wave. Hummingbird wave.
There it is. I was wondering when the camera would join.
There's
Bird
to
wave.
There's Tequila.
Yeah.
Give us a hummingbird wave, Tequila.
Do a hummingbird wave.
Close enough. Yeah. Roseanne says, thank you, Leela. Thank you, Preacher Leela.
Oh, y'all are welcome. It's my honor and my pleasure as usual.
Yeah.
And thanks you all for being here today.
Yes. All to be continued at another time and another place with another little passage of wisdom.
Thank you for this checkup. We did some more maintenance
We did some more maintenance.
in our
That's
constant
right.
awareness of the self.
There you go. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Remember, find the silence after the Om.
With mouth
Om
open.
Tat Sat. Look at how many times this thing today talked about Om. It keeps coming down to that, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's all summarized in that simple truth. Yeah. Bye, Tequila.
Swami, you said bye. Bye, Swami. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye-bye, all. Dewey for the
Dewey,
Duchies,
Dewey.
or in honor of the Duchies.
It's Dewey from Canada.
The Dewey.
And the puppy.
And the puppy. Puppy.
Bye.
Oh, that was a cute little paw waving.
Ooh.